So this is my Canon R8 rig. What I'm gonna do is break it down and talk about each piece and walk you through how I put it together. All right, so I've got all the pieces in front of me. I'm just gonna go one by one, tell you the price, and build it out. And all the prices I'm gonna list are the current price at the time that I'm making this video. And of course, I'll link everything I talk about down in the description. So first, we have the Canon R8 with the cage, and I also kept this quick release plate here at the top. And I'll talk about this in a bit. And I didn't take the cage off because all you have to do is slide the camera in and screw it in at the bottom. But the brand for the cage is Left Photo. It has a bunch of mounting points and a couple cold shoe points as well. It also comes with a tool that can be used as a flathead to go ahead and screw this on or off, but I can't seem to find that right now. So if I do, I'll add it in. But this cage is currently 37 bucks. So at the top here, I have this small rig quick release plate cold shoe mount. Now, this isn't a necessity, but it's super useful for quickly adding or removing the monitor that I'm gonna show y'all soon. So it has two pieces. One of them goes on the cage and the other one goes on the monitor. The good thing about this is it has locking pins, so it won't be able to move around or rotate once it's in place. So in order to put this on this cage, you're gonna need a 3/8 to 1/4-20 adapter. And that adapter is this small piece here. And when that adapter is in place, you'll be able to add the quick release mount. So the quick release plate is $18 and you can get a set of those adapters for $6. The next piece I'm gonna add is this NATO rail. And with this, I'm just gonna screw it onto the side because this will allow us to add the side handle. But you can pick up this piece for 11 bucks. I do wish I had a top-down camera angle for this, but I'll be sure to add in as much close-ups as possible. So the side handle I have here is from Newer, and there's a couple things that's cool about this. There's a few points here at the top where you can screw on other accessories if you like. It also has a cold shoe mount. It comes with this hex key that stays locked in at the bottom. This handle can be adjusted to go on either the left or right side of the rig, and it can also rotate. So maybe you don't want it straight up and down, you can rotate it forward or backward, or whichever way you like. And this handle is only 45 bucks, which I think is pretty good. So to add this to the rig, all we're gonna do is slide it on the NATO rail and tighten it up. Next, we're gonna add this foldable V-mount plate from Newer. And this will allow us to put the V-mount battery here on the back. There's also some mounting points here on the bottom, which I will be using for a tripod plate. So the cool thing about this being foldable is it will make it so we can open and close the flip out screen without having to take things apart. And the bottom here can also extend to fit a variety of camera bodies. All you have to do is open this lever and then you can go ahead and set it where you want. Since the bottom of this cage is Arca Swiss and this is an Arca Swiss mount, we can just set the cage in here and tighten it up. But this foldable V-mount battery plate comes in at 50 bucks. But listen, quick tip. It's gonna be easier to put this together if you remove the lens, because where the lever is to tighten this, it's gonna be bumping into the camera lens. So go ahead and remove that, tighten this up, and then you can go ahead and put the lens back on. So the battery I chose is this mini V-mount, again from Newer. I really like this battery for a few reasons. It's lightweight, it has plenty ports such as DTAP, DC 8 and 12 volt, USB-A, and USB Type-C. To power the R8, we're only going to be using the USB-C port. There's also a screen on here which lets you know the remaining battery percentage, as well as which ports are in use and the voltage. This is a 50 watt-hour battery, and it's been fine for me for solely powering the R8. I've used this with the R8 on and off for maybe the span of 4 hours and was barely getting down to the 50% mark. But the battery life for you is going to depend on how you're using the camera. And this battery currently comes in at 90 bucks. The monitor I have here is the Atomos Ninja 5 Plus. I've had this monitor for years and it's always just done everything I needed it to. This is a 4K monitor and it has all the bells and whistles such as false color, focus peaking, zebras, LUTs, and many, many more. I'm not gonna get into too many specifics with this, but this monitor can be pretty pricey. But just know that you don't need this specific monitor. You can definitely get a cheaper one and be just fine. Along with this, I have a monitor mount here at the bottom. You don't need this specific one, but if you do get a different one, just make sure it has this cold shoe mount here at the bottom, because that's what's gonna allow you to use the quick release plate. Here at the bottom, I already have the other part of the quick release. So to add this to the rig, all you have to do is push in this button on the quick release as you slide it in, and it will easily get into place. This monitor mount is 17 bucks and the Ninja 5 Plus is 800. But remember, you don't need this specific monitor. You can get a cheaper one and be just fine. So I do want to point out that the way I'm powering this monitor is with an NP battery. You can run this through the V-mount as well, and that will make your setup a bit lighter, but it will drain the battery quicker. I personally just like to keep as much juice as possible for the camera itself. So really all that's left are the cables. This is USB-C to USB-C for the battery, and this is a coiled HDMI for the monitor. Both of these have an angled side, which I find helps to make it look cleaner and also helps to prevent you from pulling and bending the cable. This HDMI is 17 bucks, and for the USB-C cable, you can get a pack of 3 for $9. I'm just gonna go ahead and add this tripod plate here at the bottom. One thing I do want to mention with this battery setup is that this also charges the battery inserted in the R8. What that also means is you technically get extended battery life. So let's say you're filming and the V-mount battery runs out of juice. Well, you still can keep going because you have a fully charged battery in the R8. So really, your true battery life is however long it takes the V-mount to fully deplete, plus the camera battery. So this is the full rig. And one of the reasons I really like this is because it's easy to add and remove pieces without needing any tools. The monitor is on the quick release plate. You can remove the handle by loosening the knob, and the same goes for the base plate. So there are a few drawbacks with this setup, each having to do with placement. So first, the on and off switch can be slightly hard to reach because it's underneath this part of the cage. The SD card is a bit difficult to remove due to its placement and the cage. And also, the screen can't swivel that well with these cables in the way. But for all of these, you kind of get used to it as you use it more, but definitely something to note. So yeah, that's the rig. Like I said, if you are interested, everything will be listed down in the description. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop it a like, jump down in the comments, let me know what you think, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It only takes a second, and I will see y'all real soon in my next one. Peace.